Hello and welcome back to Ty the Tasmanian Tiger 4 on Nyxus Gaming. That's right, we're back in this godforsaken game. Everyone knows we love the first three way more, but I had to do at least one guide in this game. We aren't doing guides on any of the collectibles because each level has the same amount of collectibles, similarly to how we didn't do guides on them in the first Ty game. So the only guide that we will be doing in this game is what we're doing today, the Boomerangs. We're going to be going through all the Boomerangs, how to get them, and what they do, starting with the regular old boring iron bark. I say it's boring, but it's a classic. It's always the first rang that Ty gets. It has been in every Ty game except for 3, and that's pretty much it. It's just your default rang. It has no special powers or anything. You throw it, it damages an enemy. And in this game as well, be aware you can charge up your boomerangs as long as you have opals on you. Pay attention, we have 358. I don't think it even takes any opals, actually. Oh yeah, no, it takes 10 opals to do that charge attack. In the previous games, you would have to have 100 opals, I think, to do that, and it would take all of them. But in this one, you can do it for 10, which is nice. But that's pretty much it for the iron bark. Let's move on to some of the more fun rangs. Once you have completed the prologue, as soon as you start the first level of Act 1 up the Magpies, you will have access to your first elemental rang, the Blazerang. Is that what it's called? The Blazerang? Yeah, the Blazerang. Fun fact, the elemental rangs in this game are described as being the third generational elemental rangs, meaning basically in the first game you had access to the first generation. In the second game you could use the first generations, or you could upgrade to the second generational ones. But in this third game, these rangs are supposed to be even better than those. It's a little lackluster though, because this game is in 2D. I don't see how much better they actually are. That being said, Blazerang lights enemies on fire when you throw it at them. And of course, you can charge up just like the other ones and hopefully hit the enemy. Like that, and do a little bit more damage. And this one comes with the added benefit, since it is fire, it can melt through ice barriers just by throwing it at them. Simple enough, let's move on to the next one. Once you finish Act 1, you will get access to your next elemental rang, the Blizzarang. This is the third generational ice rang, although, like I said, lackluster compared to both of the previous ones. The main deal with this one is just like the Blazerang could put out or melt ice and ice barriers, this one can put out fires and break through fire barriers. Other than that, it's going to be pretty much like all your other ones. If we can find an enemy, I can show how it looks whenever you hit them. There's one. Oh, I hit the one behind me. And then, can I get this guy in time? I can. So they stay frozen for a few seconds and then they break up. Unlike the previous games, you don't have to break them yourself. I guess they're just so cold, so frozen cold that the ice just breaks on its own with this one. One minor thing is in this game, you cannot use it to make ice platforms on the water like the previous games. But here is a firewall. There is an example of it breaking through that as well. At the end of Act 2, you get access to the Plasma Rang, the third generational electricity rang. Now this one is, I guess, a little bit more useful than in the previous games because its main focus has always been on powering up generators, which there are a lot more of them in this game, so it gets a lot more use. Other than that, though, it's just your basic combat rang. It has a few extra things it can do. There's one hit. Here's a charged up hit, and you can see it did actually go through and hit multiple enemies there, which is really nice. And the other thing it can do is stun enemies, because electricity, I don't think you're able to kill these. Oh yeah, you can kill these enemies. I'm dumb. I haven't played this game in a while, okay? But yeah, that's basically, it's a little bit better than the other ranks when it comes to combat. And there are more generators to use it on. I would definitely put this above the other two elemental rangs, at least. Now, the final rang you're going to get throughout the story mode is going to be the Infinirang. You get it right before going into the final level, before facing Boss Cass, and it sounds really cool, but as you can see, it doesn't really do a whole lot. Its main thing is it will slow down enemies. So you see that he is just kind of dazed, but he's dazed in slow motion now, and now he's sped up. So yeah, you saw a regular hit, a charged up hit, and you did see the effect with it slowing down, and now I'm dead, but that's enough there, right? All of the other rangs we're going to be going over are available from the main menu here in the rang shop. Now, in this file, I have already bought all of them, so what I'm going to do, I don't want to replay through the game just to show them. I am going to pop the price up on screen every time I go over one of these, so you'll know how much it takes to purchase them. So without ado, let's start with the Hyper Rang. Now, the Hyper Rang is basically your multi-rang in the game. Its description is you just throw rangs faster than they can return to you, if that makes sense. And I think that was a change they did in Ty 3. In Ty 1 and 2, you were literally throwing multiple rangs, like up to 5, I think. In Ty 3, when you got the multi-stones, it changed to, they just go really fast. You're not throwing more than 2 rangs, you're just throwing them really fast. And that's kind of what they did here. The Hyper Rang is just a really fast, but as you can see, very short range rang. Here is one hit, and here is the charged hit. That was just barely out of range. There we go. Yeah, nothing too special with this one, other than it's just really fast. Your Chaos Rang is basically this game's version of the Kaboomerang or the Exploderang, as all it does is it just explodes when making contact with enemies. And as you can see, I guess that explosion carries over to other nearby enemies as well. So we'll demonstrate the powered up shot on him. It's a very small, mediocre explosion. But, I mean, it's a 2D game. What do you expect? The Deadly Rangs, originally used by Sly in the first Ty game, and then usable by Ty in the second one, make a return in this one. They've always been just a very powerful explosion rang, just like the Kaboomerang or the Chaos Rang that we just used. A fun fact, in the original game, when Sly used them, they did not explode. That was added in the second game. Do they explode here? They do not, which is a little bit disappointing, but I'm sure, like I said, in this game, it's just a very powerful rang to make up for it, although it can't one-hit those enemies. Honestly, well, what's the point of this in this game? Because I'm not seeing any real point to using it, which is really disappointing, just like the rest of this game. Crypto Rangs are almost identical to the regular Ironbark Rangs as far as combat goes, but they are this game's replacement to the X or Infra Rang, as in, if you ever come across something invisible while using them, they will be more visible than with other rangs. For example, right now I have the Crypto Rangs, you can see those boxes. If I were to switch, you no longer see them. There is also a little sound cue, if you can hear that, whenever you are near invisible stuff. So basically, just like the other games, the Infra and the X-Rang, these are really good for hunting down collectibles, and that's about it. The Disrupto Rangs are actually extremely interesting as far as all the rangs in this game goes. They are, I think, the only rang in this game that has an entirely new effect not previously seen. What the Disrupto Rangs do is they will take into account every other rang you own, and when you throw them to hit an enemy, they will do a random effect from any of the other rangs you own. For example, I throw it at him. Not exactly sure. I think that was the Deadly Rang effect because I saw the skull. If we throw it at this guy or that guy, I'm not really seeing anything too special happening or anything too different. I may have talked these up for no reason. Let's try and find more enemies to demonstrate this a little better, because as far as I can tell, it's just doing the same stuff. Maybe it's better on bigger enemies like that. Yeah, I'm not seeing any kind of other effects. I'm not seeing like fire or ice or the plasmarang effects. I'm not seeing the chronorang slow things down. It's all the same. Good job, Ty 4. You've ruined the only rang you had going for yourself. And we are moving on to our final rang, the Boomerang, returning from the previous games. And in order to explain this one, I actually do have to go back to the Deadly Rang, because I did get this one a little bit wrong. Apparently in Ty 4, the Deadly Rang acts as the Mega Rang in the previous games, where it will home in on any enemies. So it's a little bit better than I thought it was. The Boomerang pretty much does the same thing. It homes in on enemies, but this one has the explosion effect that the Deadly Rang previously had. So yeah, it's basically the upgraded Deadly Rang with the explosions, and as you can see, it does chain between enemies. I believe the regular Deadly Rang will do that too. So out of all of these rangs, all 11, I guess the only one that didn't really work for me was the Disrupto Rang, and I'm still not entirely sure why it didn't do like any effects. Maybe we'll try charging it up, see if that's the thing. I'm pretty sure I tried it, but yeah, still nothing. So I don't know, but now you've seen all 11 rangs in this extremely lackluster Ty game. If you couldn't tell, I'm not a huge fan of it. That being said, I had to do at least one guide in it. And now I hopefully never get to play this game again. Thank you all for watching. Look, I think as far as it goes, it's not a terrible game. It's just definitely the worst game in the Ty series, okay? Like, definitely play the first 3 before you even think about playing this game. And hopefully they'll make a Ty 5 one day. It's a pipe dream. It's probably never going to happen. But hey, I'm here for it when it does. Thank you all for watching. And next time we will be starting the Witcher 2 guides, I believe. Moving on to our first guide in that game. And I'll see ya then. Bye-bye.